Expecting a robot maid, he was shocked when an alien showed up. James Whitley stared at the mounting disaster that was his apartment with a mixture of despair and resignation. Coffee cups clustered on every surface like ceramic mushrooms. Takeout containers created miniature skylines on his kitchen counter. The irony wasn't lost on him. An architect who designed pristine, minimalist spaces for wealthy clients couldn't maintain basic order in his own home. "This ends today," he muttered, running a hand through his disheveled brown hair. After 3 consecutive projects with impossible deadlines, James had finally admitted defeat in the battle against household chaos. His solution: the HomeTech Pro Assist 5000, the latest in domestic robotics. The advertisements promised a revolutionary home experience with its advanced AI and sleek design. At $3,999, it was extravagant, but James calculated it would pay for itself in preserved sanity. The delivery was scheduled for 7:00 p.m. By 6:58, James had cleared a path from his door to the living room, the bare minimum of hospitality he could offer his new robotic helper. When the doorbell rang at precisely 7:00, James felt an unexpected flutter of anticipation. He swung the door open with a smile that quickly dissolved into confusion. Instead of a delivery person with a large package, he found himself face to face with a woman. At least, she appeared mostly woman-shaped at first glance. Her skin had a subtle lavender hue that seemed to shimmer under his porch light. Her hair, a striking silver blue, floated around her head as if suspended in water. Most startling were her eyes, large, almond-shaped, and a deep violet that seemed to shift and swirl like cosmic nebulae. "You are James Whitley of Earth?" she asked, her voice melodic with an accent he couldn't place. James blinked rapidly. Yes, are you, from HomeTech?" A musical laugh escaped her lips. "I am Naira of Lysithea. There has been what you might call a navigational error." "A navigational error?" James repeated dumbly. "Yes, my ship encountered a quantum disturbance near your planet's orbit. The emergency teleportation system activated, but it seems to have locked onto your residence instead of a safe landing zone." She spoke matter-of-factly, as if explaining a minor detour rather than interstellar travel. James glanced past her, half expecting to see a spaceship parked beside his mailbox. "Your ship?" "Currently in stable orbit, but damaged." She held up a small device resembling a piece of polished coral with pulsing blue lights. "My communication module is malfunctioning. I cannot contact my crew for extraction." James leaned against his doorframe, processing this information. His rational mind suggested several explanations: an elaborate prank, a hallucination from too much coffee and too little sleep, or perhaps he'd actually fallen asleep at his drafting table and was dreaming the whole encounter. "You don't believe me," Naira observed without accusation. "It's not that I don't believe you," James said carefully. "It's just that aliens don't typically show up at my door on a Tuesday evening." As if summoned by his skepticism, a delivery truck pulled into his driveway. A uniformed courier approached with a large box on a dolly. "Delivery for James Whitley, HomeTech Pro Assist 5000. James signed for the package in a daze, watching as the courier positioned the box in his entryway and departed with a cheerful, "Enjoy your new helper." Naira examined the box with visible interest. "Ah, you were expecting an automaton assistant. This explains the confusion in your neural patterns." "You can read my mind?" James asked, alarmed. "Only surface emotions and expectations. It's considered impolite on my world to probe deeper without permission." She tapped the box with a slender finger. "This device, it performs domestic tasks." "That was the plan," James said, still struggling to accept the reality of his situation. Naira's expression brightened. "Perhaps we can help each other, James Whitley of Earth. I possess technical knowledge that could enhance your domestic automaton. In exchange, I require temporary shelter and assistance with repairing my communication module." "You want to stay here, with me?" James gestured helplessly at the chaos of his apartment. "Your dwelling's condition is of no concern to me," Naira said with a gentle smile. My people value knowledge and connection over order and appearance. Something about her directness, her calm acceptance of an extraordinary situation, resonated with James. After years of clients demanding perfection in every detail, her perspective was refreshing. "Okay," he heard himself say, "let's make a deal." Over the next hours, they unpacked the home tech robot together. James followed the manual while Naira made observations about the primitive but charming technology. When they powered it on, the robot introduced itself in a pleasant, gender-neutral voice as Pro Assist, your home management solution. "Fascinating," Naira murmured, circling the sleek white machine. "May I?" Before James could respond, she placed her communication device against the robot's control panel. The lights on both devices pulsed in synchrony. The Pro Assist's eyes flickered, then glowed with a deeper blue light. "I've expanded its processing capabilities using a fraction of my communication module's power," she explained. "It can now perform its functions with 300% greater efficiency." "Is that safe?" James asked, watching as the Pro Assist immediately began tidying with remarkable speed and precision. "Completely. Think of it as a thank you for your hospitality." As the evening progressed, James learned that Naira was a xenoanthropologist, someone who studied the cultures and behaviors of different intelligent species across the galaxy. Earth was a designated, observation-only planet, not yet invited into the galactic consortium due to its ongoing developmental challenges. "You mean we're too primitive?" James translated, as they shared a meal of reheated pasta that the Pro Assist had somehow made taste better than when it was fresh. "I would say beautifully emergent," Naira corrected. "Your species accomplishes remarkable things despite your limitations. It's quite admirable." For the first time in years, James felt his constant stress receding. There was something liberating about speaking with someone completely outside his normal experience, someone who saw humanity from a different perspective. As the night deepened, he prepared the guest room for Naira, acutely aware that he was hosting an actual alien in his suburban home. The absurdity of it made him laugh out loud. "Does something amuse you?" Naira asked, tilting her head curiously. "Just thinking that when I ordered a helper for my house, I never expected to get an alien visitor instead," James replied with a smile. Naira's eyes sparkled with their cosmic light. "Sometimes the universe delivers what we need rather than what we think we want." James couldn't argue with that as he fell asleep to the soft hum of the Pro Assist cleaning and the gentle glow of Naira's communication device pulsing from the guest room, feeling strangely at peace with this unexpected turn of events. Morning light filtered through James' curtains, momentarily disorienting him. His apartment smelled of coffee and something sweeter. Was that pancakes? For a blissful moment, he thought he might have dreamed the previous evening's events. Then he heard soft humming from his kitchen, a melody unlike any he'd heard before, with notes that seemed to hang in the air longer than they should. James found Naira and the Pro Assist working in perfect synchrony in his kitchen. The robot was flipping pancakes while Naira arranged berries in intricate geometric patterns on the plates. "Your nutritional requirements are quite fascinating," she said by way of greeting. "Your species requires such a diverse intake of elements." "Good morning to you too," James smiled, accepting a steaming mug of coffee from the Pro Assist. "Did you sleep well?" "I entered my restorative cycle efficiently," Naira replied. "Your dwelling has interesting acoustic properties. The sounds of your city at night are quite melodic." James took a bite of pancake and nearly groaned with pleasure. "These are incredible. What did you do to them?" "I simply adjusted the Pro Assist's flavor calibrations," she said with a modest wave. "A minor enhancement." Over breakfast, Naira explained her plan to repair her communication module. She needed specific materials, some common household electronics and a few rarer components. "There's an electronics supply store downtown," James offered. "I have the day off. We could go together." A flicker of excitement crossed Naira's features. "I would be permitted to observe your urban environment directly." "Well, we might need to make a few adjustments to your appearance," James said gently. "Your skin and eyes are distinctive." Understanding dawned on her face. Ah, yes, covert observation protocols. She touched her communication device, and her appearance shifted subtly. Her lavender skin faded to a human tan, her floating silver-blue hair settled into a more conventional style, and her eyes, while still striking, lost their cosmic swirl. "How's this?" she asked, her voice maintaining its musical quality. James found himself staring longer than was polite. Even with her alien features disguised, Naira radiated an otherworldly beauty. "Perfect," he managed. Their trip downtown became an unexpected adventure. James saw his familiar city through new eyes as Naira marveled at everything from traffic signals, a remarkably efficient system given its technological constraints, to street musicians. The emotional resonance transcends the simplicity of the instruments. In the electronics store, Naira moved with precision, gathering components while explaining her needs to a fascinated sales clerk who assumed she was working on an advanced engineering project. "Your companion is brilliant," the clerk told James as they checked out. "MIT, Caltech." "Something like that," James replied with a smile. As days passed, James and Naira fell into an unexpected routine. During the day, he would work on his architectural designs while she repaired her communication module and studied Earth culture through his books and internet connection. In the evenings, they would share meals and conversation that stretched late into the night. James found himself captivated not just by Naira's alien perspective, but by her compassion and curiosity. She spoke of distant worlds with the same enthusiasm she showed for a perfectly toasted sandwich or the pattern of rainfall against his windows. "Your species views the universe as something to be conquered," she observed one evening as they sat on his balcony watching the sunset. "My people see it as a tapestry to be understood. Each civilization contributes its own thread to the pattern." "And what's Earth's thread?" James asked. Naira's eyes, which she no longer disguised when they were alone, sparkled with warmth. "Resilience, imagination, the capacity to find beauty in imperfection." Her gaze lingered on him. "It's quite remarkable." On the seventh day, Naira's communication module finally hummed to life, projecting a holographic display of symbols. "It's working," she announced, her voice a mixture of triumph and something James couldn't quite identify. Was it regret? "How soon will they come for you?" he asked, trying to keep his tone neutral. "The extraction team can arrive within your Earth day," she replied, not meeting his eyes. The reality of her imminent departure hit James with unexpected force. In just 1 week, this alien visitor had transformed not just his home, but his perspective on life. The thought of returning to his solitary existence made his immaculate apartment suddenly seem empty. That evening they sat in silence on his balcony, the repaired communication module pulsing gently between them, still inactive. James had prepared her favorite Earth meal, pasta with garlic and herbs, but neither had much appetite. "James," Naira finally said, her voice soft, "on my world, we believe that connections between souls are rare and precious things, transcending physical forms and spatial distances." "Are you saying we have a connection?" James asked, his heart quickening. "I believe we do." She reached across and placed her hand over his. Her touch was warm, with a subtle vibration like distant music. "In all my studies of different civilizations, I've never encountered anyone quite like you." "I'm just an ordinary human," James said. "There is no such thing," Naira replied with certainty. "Each conscious being contains universes of possibility." James took a deep breath. "What happens now? You return to the stars, and I stay here with my robot maid and memories." Naira's eyes swirled with emotion. "There are alternatives." "Such as?" "I could request an extended research assignment on Earth. Or," she hesitated, "you could consider coming with me." "To space?" James asked, incredulous. "Is that even possible?" "It would require special permission from the consortium. It would mean leaving everything you know, but you would see wonders beyond imagination." Her voice grew passionate. "Orbital cities built from crystal and light, forests that sing as they grow, oceans where thoughts take physical form." James looked around at his perfect apartment, the culmination of years of striving for a success that had never quite fulfilled him. Then he looked at Naira, whose arrival had shown him how much more the universe contained. "What about a third option?" he suggested. "You stay for a while, I learn about your world, then we decide together." Naira's expression brightened like a dawning star. "A cultural exchange program. The consortium has protocols for such arrangements. It would be unprecedented for Earth, but not impossible." She activated her communication module and spoke rapidly in her native language, a cascade of musical tones that made the air itself seem to shimmer. After several minutes, she looked up with eyes bright with joy. Permission granted for a preliminary cultural exchange. 6 Earth months to assess compatibility. James felt a weight lift from his shoulders. And the pro assist, will it be jealous? Naira laughed, the sound like silver bells. "I believe it will adapt to the situation." As if on cue, the robot entered the balcony with 2 glasses of wine perfectly balanced on a tray. James raised his glass to Naira, to unexpected arrivals and new beginnings. "To finding connection across the stars," she replied, her eyes reflecting the first evening stars appearing in the sky, stars that no longer seemed quite so distant or unreachable. The Pro Assist hummed contentedly in the background, its initial purpose transformed, much like James himself, by the arrival of an unexpected visitor from beyond the stars.